Okay, so what we're told about this problem is that we have three different companies that are manufacturing a particular sensor. We want to know what the probability of a defective sensor is, given that it was randomly selected from the general population of all sensors. What's the probability that it was defective, given that it was made by breakers? Now, I think I'm a little confused about that question because we're actually given in the question the probability that it's defective, given that it was made by breakers. But then we're asked if a sensor is randomly selected from the general population of all sensors. I think what's meant, I will answer both questions, but I think what's meant is what's the probability it was made by breakers, given that it was defective. But I'll answer both questions here. So what we're told is that the probability that a sensor was made by, I'll call it breakers with a capital B here. Probability that was made by breakers is 80%, so 0.80. The probability it was made by Cartin Company, I use a C for that, is 15%. The probability that it was made by Flutes is Flutes Company makes the other 5%. So the probability that was made by Flutes is 5%. You can see that these probabilities add up to 100% here. Then we're told that the probability of a defect, given it was made by breakers, is 4%. So the breakers has a 4% defect rate. The probability that we have a defect, given it was made by the Cartin Company, is 6%. And the probability that it was made by, what's the third one? Flutes is a 9%. Probability of a defect, given it was made by Flutes, is a 9% there. So you see that these are conditional probabilities. They're conditioned on different things, so they actually don't add up to 100% here. Keep that in mind. Just because you have probabilities for these different scenarios doesn't mean they always add up to 100%. These are conditioned on different things here. So you can see why I'm a little confused by the question, because what we're asked is what's the probability that it's defective, given that it was made by breakers? Well, that's already given in the question. That's here. That's this value right here. 4%. That answers a direct question in there. But I don't think that's what the question means. I think what we are, there are two possible interpretations of what the question could mean. One of them is, what's the probability of a defect overall? That's one question. The other is, what's the probability that it was made by breakers, given there's a defect? That's the other question. These are kind of the two questions here. I'll call them number one and number two here. I don't have a whole lot of time, but I will answer number one here. The probability of a defect is going to be the probability it was made by breakers times the probability of a defect, given it was made by breakers, plus the probability it was made by Cartin times the probability of a defect, given it was made by Cartin, plus the probability of Flutes Company times the probability of a defect, given it was made by Flutes Company there. That will give you the total probability here if there's a defect. And if I pull out my calculator real quick and I just do that math for you, 0.8 times 0.04 plus 0.15 times 0.06 plus 0.05 times 0.09, we get an overall defect rate for the whole population of 0.0455. Okay. The other way is this, you're asking this question about this conditional probability here. And just real quick, because I'm running out of time, you would use Bayes' theorem for that. So you would say the probability that it was made by breakers given a defect is the probability it was made by breakers times the probability of a defect given it was made by breakers, divided by the probability of a defect. That would be 0.80 times 0.04 divided by this guy, 0.0445455. Okay, so that would be your answer.